Hey everybody.
Hi guys.
We are going to take it'll be our second live. And we're going to head to go see where Jim Croce's farmhouse is.
Yep.
And then following that, we're going to go see his gravesite. So we love Jim Croce. We want you to join us. And it's a beautiful day here.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah,
finally sunshine.
Don't know if you could see. We could try to show the water over there. Maybe we can get out real quick and take some footage for you, but we're right at a little park right by us, and then we're going to go and head that way and do a drive through Montgomery County, Chester County.
Nice scenic tour.
Yeah, and then head out and join us.
Bye.
So after making this video and putting it all together, we realized that you may not know who Jim Croce is. So Jim Croce was a songwriter who back in the 60s and 70s literally had a lifetime of music in his short lifetime. So I'll explain a little bit about Jim Croce, but this video is going to be us exploring, going on our live stream, going to see Jim Croce's house, going to see Jim Croce's gravesite, and sharing with you what we know about Jim Croce, and who he is. So join us. Jim Croce was born in Philadelphia. He's a singer-songwriter. He has a huge catalog of music. If you think you don't know who Jim Croce is, you know who Jim Croce is. One of his most famous songs is "I Have to Say I Love You in a Song," "Time in a Bottle." There is a huge list in his catalog, and I bet you if you hear it, you're going to know more than what you think you know. Jim Croce lived a long life within his short life, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, Jim, even though he wrote all this music and he was just coming to fame, he unfortunately passed in a plane crash. He was only 30 years old. He had a 2-year-old son, his wife. They had spent most of their life together in this farmhouse that's in the Chester County, Pennsylvania. This farmhouse was seen here in a documentary for VH1. If you have a chance, go check it out. It tells you an amazing story and history of Jim's life, his collection of work, and we learned a lot about him through that, more so than his music. So we knew this house was out there somewhere nearby us, and we never had the chance to explore it. This footage here is from the 70s. We knew it would be a lot different today, so we want you to join us through this adventure. So the first thing we did was we decided we were going to live stream. We had a beautiful day ahead of us. We knew that we would have an opportunity to live stream. This is our second time live streaming, so there's lessons learned, and you'll find out in the future. But we're just driving here. It's a nice casual stroll all through Phoenixville into Chester County. So Deb and I really discovered who Jim Croce was when we were about in our 20s. We were driving home from, I believe it was Canada. We went on a road trip, and it was the anniversary of Jim's passing. And we heard this radio station, and they were playing these songs back to back. And we knew every single one. But then we heard the announcer say before or after one of the commercial breaks that this was the, basically remembrance of Jim Croce and his passing. And then we realized we know all of this songwriter songs, and we knew and loved every single one of them, but really didn't know who sung them all. So it was one of those things where you were like, wow, I cannot believe I never knew who this person was. Deb and I were born a couple years after Jim had passed away. So we were kind of, I guess, naive to knowing exactly who he was. I would hear his songs on the radio all the time. They would play them literally all the time. And when you hear Jim's story and the fact that most of his songs, if not all of his songs, did not become popular until he passed away. He never got to see that in fruition. It's a very sad yet happy ending, in the sense where his art was finally recognized, and it unfortunately was right at the same time of him passing away. So he is a local legend. He's a music legend. And if you seriously do not know who Jim is, and you need to go and look for his body of work, because it is what it is. It's just special. So in that VH1 special that I will link below in the description, they did say that Jim Croce, when he was in this house, it was an apartment to the side of the house, but it was part of this main farmhouse, he would have company over. And that company was people like Bonnie Raitt, James Taylor, Arlo Guthrie, Randy Newman, Jimmy Buffett. They would just hang out. And I'm sure to them they were just friends, but that is a whole lot of talent in one little country house. So Deb and I are really big on music history. We, did a whole road trip through Tennessee, explored everywhere you could possibly think of, and we saw so much history there in music. And it was one of the best road trips we ever were on. And to have this much history, so simple that it's literally less than an hour away from our house, was pretty amazing to experience. So at this point in the live stream, the stream keeps going up and down, and we keep resetting. And I finally got it to the point that it was ready to go, and we're passing by the house. And, well, let's just say it's live television, right? Look at that old house. It's cool looking. So it's coming up here. There's the barn, and then the house on the corner. And of course there's people walking, and there's elderly people, so I don't want to be disrespectful at all. But here's the house. You can get a good view. Marker is down here. There it is. Right. Yeah, I know. So after multiple lessons learned, we came back and we decided to give it another try. And you'll see here, there's the house. It is, I want to stress, it is owned by people, so we had to be very respectful. And we didn't go on their property, and we just filmed what we could and tried to keep everyone's privacy as much as we possibly could. But this side of the house right here is Jim's apartment, his old apartment. I guess there is a downstairs as well as and 1 bedroom upstairs. This is available to rent. If you want to look on Airbnb, you can rent the entire house, and you can also rent the apartment itself. So we do plan on going back and checking out and renting the apartment. We look to do that in the future, so stay tuned for that video when we do. So after multiple attempts of driving by, we couldn't see what we're told is an outhouse. And that outhouse has a very distinct reason why we wanted to see the outhouse, which sounds crazy, but probably was a beautiful outhouse back in the day. But in this clip here, coming up, you will see why we wanted to show you the outhouse. So Jim in this house wrote this album, You Don't Mess Around with Jim. This was his last album, his final album. And if you look, the very cover of that album was taken in that outhouse. So once we got our fill of driving around and looking at the house from every angle we possibly could, and we decided we were going to go and pay our respects to Jim. From the house to his gravesite is probably about a 25-minute drive. So Jim is buried in Haim Salomon. That's located in Malvern, Pennsylvania. And it took us a little bit to explore and find out exactly where he was laid to rest. There was no huge markers basically saying this is where he was. When we found his information online, they basically said he was laid to rest and there was a larger pine tree. So we finally found him, and wouldn't you know, people were still paying respects to him.
So we're going to leave a dime here. A lot of people leave dimes for the song Operator. I believe it was one of the songs that he wrote here in his house as the last time in a bottle. So just gonna leave a dime. R.I.P. Jim.
You'll notice so many coins are here. I'm gonna leave mine as well. Thank you for everything. So we hope we taught you a little bit about Jim Croce and we inspired you to go check him out. And we wish we could play some of his music here for you, but we can't. So we made a Spotify playlist for you. Scan the code, go check it out. We'll put the description below. We want you to listen to Jim. Comment below and let us know what you think. If you've heard of Jim before, if you love his music, and if you're new to it.